Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. Sami Zayn made another big blunder on the latest episode of WWE Raw heading into the Royal Rumble. While he looked remorseful, Kevin Owens was very pleased. In the main event of the show, the Master Strategist collided with Drew McIntyre in a singles match. He was 0-10 against the Scottish Warrior going into the bout, and it became 0-11 after the bell rang, as the two-time WWE Champion won the match. Drew McIntyre cheated, but the referee didn't see him placing his feet on the ropes. He attacked Sami Zayn after the match, and Cody Rhodes came out to make the save. The American Nightmare took down the big man with a Cody Cutter. However, the undisputed WWE Champion was blindsided by Kevin Owens, his current rival. He started getting the upper hand, but McIntyre stopped him. Sami Zayn wanted to hit Drew with the hell of a kick, but the latter got out of the way, and he accidentally hit Cody Rhodes. McIntyre bailed, and had a big smile on his face. Kevin Owens stood next to Sami and stared down at Cody. He gave his former tag team partner a tap on the chest to say well done and left. Last week, Sami attacked Seth Rollins, and now he has done the same thing to Cody. He seemingly made two big mistakes in a row now. It was another Monday night, and the crowd at the arena was buzzing with excitement as WWE Raw kicked off. The familiar sounds of the opening theme played, signaling the beginning of the show. Fans were expecting an action-packed night, with rivalries intensifying and big moments ready to unfold. However, the most unexpected moment came from a man who had become known for his unpredictability in WWE, Sami Zayn. The episode had already been filled with heavy-hitting matches and drama, but no one could have anticipated the event that would send shockwaves throughout the entire WWE universe. Sami Zayn had been walking a fine line for weeks now, having found himself torn between loyalty to his longtime friend Kevin Owens and the seductive allure of the bloodline, especially under the leadership of Roman Reigns. The fans knew that Sami was no stranger to making rash decisions, but no one could have foreseen just how big of a mistake he would make that night. A mistake that would change everything. The show had been building towards a highly anticipated tag team match, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos. The tension between the two teams had been palpable, and the stage was set for an explosive encounter. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens were supposed to focus on teamwork, something they had done effortlessly in the past. But deep down, Sami was conflicted. For weeks, Sami had been getting subtle encouragement from Roman Reigns, pushing him to prove his loyalty to the bloodline. He had seen the way the Usos were treated, the respect they commanded, and the power they wielded under Roman's reign. It was tempting, and Sami found himself slipping into old habits, forgetting the very essence of who he was. But would he go through with it? The match began with high energy. Kevin Owens was on fire, landing strikes and showcasing his ability to turn the tide in any situation. But Sami, as the match progressed, started to hesitate. His focus wavered. He kept glancing toward the entrance ramp, as if expecting something or someone to appear. Owens, unaware of Sami's inner turmoil, was giving his all, delivering devastating powerbombs and superkicks to the Usos. However, Sami's distractions didn't go unnoticed by Jimmy and Jay. As the match neared its climax, Owens was knocked out of the ring. It was time for Sami to make the tag, to solidify their partnership and take the match home. But in an instant, everything went sideways. Sami hesitated, his hand inches from Kevin Owens, but instead of tagging him, Sami turned around and aimed a brutal kick to Jey Uso's midsection, followed by a quick DDT. The crowd gasped in shock as Sami went for a pin on one half of the tag team champions. He didn't tag Owens. For a brief moment, Sami was lost in the chaos. But then he snapped back to reality, realizing what he had just done. He had cost his own team the match. He had essentially turned his back on Kevin Owens. Owens, now standing on the outside, looked on in disbelief. The fans could sense the tension rising as Sami and Owens locked eyes. Sami stood in the ring, unsure of what to do next. He had been living in a world of uncertainty, but this? This was something else entirely. The Usos capitalized on the miscue and quickly turned the match around. A superkick from Jay to Sami followed by a pinfall meant the match was over and the Bloodline stood victorious. But for Sami, the emotional battle had only just begun. Kevin Owens confronts Sami Zayn. After the match, Sami's face was filled with a mix of regret and fear. He knew he had made a mistake, one that could cost him everything. Kevin Owens, the man who had been his closest ally, now looked at him with a mixture of disappointment and disbelief. Kevin entered the ring, and the crowd fell silent, waiting for what was sure to be a heated confrontation. Owens grabbed the microphone, his voice echoing through the arena. "What the hell was that, Sami?" he asked, his tone cold and sharp. "We've been through everything together, and you just..." He trailed off, unable to finish the thought. Sami, realizing the gravity of what he had done, started to stammer. "Kev, I didn't mean to." Owens cut him off. "You didn't mean to? You think this is a joke? You think you can just toss away everything we've built?" Sami dropped his head, ashamed. No, it's not like that. I don't know anymore. Roman, the Bloodline, they've been pressuring me. I'm torn, Kev. I don't know what's real anymore." Kevin's expression softened slightly, but the hurt in his eyes was still evident. "Sami, you've always been the guy who stood up for what was right. You always knew who you were. But tonight, you lost sight of that. You're still my friend, but you need to figure out where you stand. Don't let anyone, Roman, the Bloodline, convince you to betray who you are." Sami looked up at Kevin, the weight of his friend's words sinking in. The realization was dawning on him that, in his moment of weakness, he had betrayed the very person who had been by his side for years. The Bloodline had used his insecurities, manipulating him into making a choice that, deep down, he knew wasn't right. The unexpected turnaround. But just as it seemed like the situation was beyond repair, something unexpected happened. Kevin Owens, who had every right to walk away, instead reached out to Sami. His anger was still present, but he wasn't ready to give up on his friend. "I'm not saying I forgive you," he said, "but I'm not done with you yet. You've got a chance to make things right. Don't waste it." The crowd cheered at the rare moment of understanding between the two men. Kevin Owens, for all his bravado, still believed in the bond he shared with Sami Zayn. The ball was now in Sami's court. Sami, with tears in his eyes, nodded. "I won't let you down, Kev. I'll fix this. I promise." And just like that, the story between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens was far from over. Sami knew he had made a huge mistake, but he also knew that redemption wasn't just about apologizing. It was about proving, not just to Kevin but to himself, that he could rise above the pressure and the temptations. He wasn't going to let the Bloodline define him anymore. The next few weeks would be pivotal for Sami Zayn as he worked to regain Kevin Owens' trust and find his place in WWE once again. But one thing was clear, in that moment on Raw, Sami Zayn had made a huge mistake, but in doing so, he had also impressed Kevin Owens in a way he hadn't expected. There was hope for their friendship, and maybe, just maybe, a bigger storyline on the horizon.